Welcome back to Open Line, talking about the opioid crisis in Tennessee. We have a great panel up here that has been discussing the governor's proposal to deal with the opioid crisis in Tennessee. I want to ask Michael Jones from the TBI, Tennessee Bureau of Investigation, about counterfeits. That's also part of this problem, right? Counterfeit drugs.
It is, and that's part of the scheduling problem that we're trying to address. If you're not getting your pharmaceuticals directly from the pharmacy, it's not a matter of if, it's more a matter of when you're going to get a counterfeit pill. And the problem with these substances is that they're being made in clandestine operations, but yet they look exactly like legitimate pharmaceuticals, except what you don't know is that it could contain fentanyl, carfentanil, or any type of analog or derivative, which could be 50 to 100 times or even 1,000 times more powerful than the opioid you think you're getting. And what you see is when someone gets that, it really increases your risk for overdose death, and that's something we're really concerned about.
Let's go to Brian. Brian, you've waited patiently.
Real quick, I injured my shoulder a couple years ago. They gave me the pills. I'm out here in Fairview, you know, Nick at night, Nick in the morning. I talked, a great friend with Nick, and a couple of days, I was like, oh my God, what? The things are weird, man. They made you like buzz. I knew there was something different about these things. I threw them away, and this is 2012, 13, and I remember in early 2000s, I lived at the airport. I live out in the country now. These guys are dealing these things on the bar stools from TennCare. So I know there was a big problem with all these pill pushing stuff. But I recommend today they've got on a subcommittee. I love all the Democrats. There used to be 3 up there in front of you, and now there's only 1. But well, I don't know, law enforcement and jail. But I'll tell you what, medical marijuana passed out a subcommittee as an alternative form. And I think that's going to pass in Tennessee for the first time ever, because the great thing about being a supermajority is anything that gets out of committee passes.
So, okay, Brian, thank you. Brian brings up medical marijuana. I can tell you on our Facebook page, tons of comments about that. So the general crux of the comment is, well, opioids, they've caused all this damage. If you legalize marijuana, it's not as bad. That's not part of the plan here. No. What for all the people saying that, what do you say? Yeah,
I think in the past, the governor's been pretty consistent on his concerns with legalizing marijuana, even in terms of medical marijuana. There was a big vote today on the House side in a subcommittee that passed the bill out of that committee, and I think at this point we're also, from the governor's perspective, the governor's office perspective, just watching what happens in the legislature. There is definitely more of an appetite for legalizing marijuana through specifically medical marijuana, so we will watch and see.
Commissioner, you were talking about recidivism,
yes,
and how big a problem that is. And how does this play into that?
Well, you know, I think any time we address the criminogenic factors that drive recidivism in our state, it's key. I mean, that really enhances public safety. Again, 95% of the people incarcerated are going home. For years, I can remember when I started as a correctional officer 35 years ago, you know, I think we had the mentality, we lock them up, throw away the key, the problem's gone, right? They're incarcerated, so we don't have to worry about it anymore. But we can't forget, they're coming back. They're knocking on the doors, coming back to the communities we live in. We know that drug abuse is a significant criminogenic factor that drives recidivism in our state. We have to attack it. We have to use the evidence-based practices that we've seen that works in other states. We have to use them here, and sometimes we have to put aside those old, this is the way we've always done it, and look at what works in other states. We know it will reduce recidivism. It'll help. Right now, our recidivism rate is too high. It's about 47.1%, but we have seen a decline in the last year just because of some of the reforms that's been put in place. We had passed some legislation, the Public Safety Act of 2016. We reduced revocations, people who come back on technical violations, to my department, to the Department of Corrections, significantly. 40% of the people who come back in our door were technical violators, people who were out on parole or probation, who committed a technical violation, didn't break a law, but they broke a rule of supervision. They come back to a hard bed, a prison bed, at about $76 a day. It costs $4 a day to supervise them in the community, and we've got good programs. You've heard Commissioner Williams talk about the programs we have. So we have to be strategic about how we tackle this issue, but providing good treatment programs for those offenders that are incarcerated. But also, let's not forget about the almost 70,000 offenders that we have in our community on probation and parole. Providing services in the community for those are critical also.
Because they'll be back out there. Like
Absolutely.
you said, the ones in prison, 95% come back out.
Right.
And what we've talked about, prevention, treatment, law enforcement, this is part of a group of proposals that make up Tennessee Together.
Yes.
Where does it stand? How confident are you that all of this will pass in some form?
Yeah, so Tennessee Together has probably about 20 elements under it. Some are budgetary in nature. Some involved an executive order from the governor to put together a commission of kind of medical school experts on how we train future prescribers. There are pieces of this plan, 3 of which are in the form of bills that are moving through the legislature. There's 3 elements, but only 2 bills, and they continue to be heard and move through the legislative process. I think we are having some good conversations with stakeholders, particularly on the opioid limit bill. So the bill that would set this limit for an individual who hasn't had opioids in 30 days since the day of treatment, working with our medical associations, dental associations, pharmaceutical associations, or pharmacist associations to say, is this the right plan? How will this play out? We want to do the right thing that will actually change the patterns that we're seeing in our communities, and let's work together to figure out what that looks like.
And Commissioner, we don't have a lot of time, maybe 40 seconds or so. You see these problems, sometimes you throw up your hands and go, there is nothing that can be done, it is too overwhelming. If people feel that way, what do you say?
I say we can't ignore the problem. The problem's there, it's at our door. And we have to address it. We never give up. Never give up on people, never give up on the possibility to change. And we're the Department of Corrections. We have to make a change. We work hard. We've got 6,400 people that work for this department that work hard every day to give people the opportunity to change their life. We'll never give up on the opportunity for somebody to change their life for the positive.
All right, we're going to take a break. We'll come back. We'll wrap everything up. Take a break. Be back right after this.